Giving all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rekha Kodash. I want to give double honors unto the apostles and those of the great millstone. I want to say peace, mercy, and blessings to all the hopeful elect. The name of the Heavenly Father is Yahweh. That means he exists or he is to be. The name of the Son is Yahweh Shai. That means he is the deliverer. We are the Hebrew Israelites, right? And there's 12 tribes. Today we're being called Haitian, Jamaican, West Indian, African American, Native American, Seminole Indian, Puerto Rican, Cuban, Dominican, Mexican, Panamanian, all right? And pretty much, people that came over here to serve slavery, indigenous people of the Caribbean islands, North, Central, South America. All right, this is not about skin color. It's about the seed, according to the Father, all right? The Israelites are under the curses of Deuteronomy 28, but the curses are being put on our enemies. Now, the self-proclaimed white man, so-called Caucasian, the small hats, right there, Esau, Edom. The small hats are Amalek. According to Bible prophecy, Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of that followed. Right now, we're in Esau's time. All right, but this man's time is very short. His little season is coming to an end, and this video, it just expounds on that. Right, this is from Yak Motley. While millions of Americans are quietly tapping out in 2026. All right, but I'm gonna title my lesson something a little different. Millions are tapping out in 2026. Economic pressure. Okay, so I'm just gonna play this video, and Lord willing, bring out some edification. All right, and this is the brother Marar Ashar, right?
All this stake money going. They want $47 for this, and it expires today.
Boomers are all about money. Gen X is like, is it all about money? Millennials are like, where is the money? And Gen Z is like, what is money?
Amy Poehler absolutely nailed this.
I don't know how I'm going to live in this economy much longer, guys. This was $200.
So Donald Trump got on stage last night and said, we can't afford daycare or Medicaid. We're funding wars.
We got to talk about Americans are just like, I can't do this anymore. They're tapping out. There's so much to it that we just don't know about our economy that it slowly just eats everything away from you until you figure it out. You just can't survive in today's society anymore. Let's talk about it. There's some great videos of people that are just going through the motions saying, I just can't keep doing this. Let's go.
This is a true representation of how money has been declining over the past 40 or 50 years. The boomers had such a big economic boom that it was easy for them to accumulate money. $80 trillion the boomer generation has. So of course, they're all about the money. Now, when you think about the millennials, where's the money? It's because we were handed a roadmap at like 13 years old of exactly the steps we needed to take. And then someone pointed and said, see that treasure chest? It's going to be full of gold. Just
Yeah, because they're told go to school, graduate, get your high school diploma, GED, or whatever. Then from there, you're told to go to college. Then you come out with all these fucking student loan debts, and come to find out, the job you're trying to get, somehow you're overqualified for it, or you don't have enough experience, And now with the whole, AI boom, that's taking a lot of jobs. A lot of jobs are being taken, all right, or being lost to AI. So you went to school X amount of years, and now you can't even get a job, but you still got all this debt. So now you have to accept a lower paying job to put some money toward this debt. But you can't keep up with the cost of living. Cost of living is going up. The wages are not going up. Okay, so yeah, this whole fucking place is cooked. All praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh Hashem, Yahweh Shai. And it's part of the prophecy, so, the hopeful elect are just dealing with it. And at the end of the day, the elect are going to be protected, through the famine. Scripture speaks about these things. Famine, pestilence, wars, rumors of wars, uproars of the people,
Follow the plan. Well, we followed the plan. Here we are 20 years later. We open up the treasure chest and there's 2 fucking coins in it. We're like, where's the money? And then Gen Zers, what is money? Gen Zers, correct me if I'm wrong, they're going to work and they're getting paid direct deposit on Fridays. And as soon as the money hits the account, it just goes automatic to their bills. They don't actually touch money. A company could actually...
Yeah, you don't really touch money like that nowadays. So you get paid, and then from there, you know, like, shit, you can pay. Yeah, there's an app you can pay your rent. You know, which that's a very large cut, or however you want to say it, of your monthly expenses right there. Rent, gas and electric. Then you have phone, and you need internet. Most cases, most people need internet so that they can work. All right.
Actually hire someone and say, we're not going to give you any money. You're going to work here for free, but we'll provide housing, a car, and 3 hot meals a day. There would be no difference. Just cut out the step of money because they never actually see their money. What is going on?
Especially now with payday lending, where, you know, you can buy a taco and pay for it in 3 monthly installments. And it's like they completely align those withdrawals for the moment that the settlement date is on your paycheck. You know, when I was a kid, they said, go to school, take out student loans because it's good debt, get a good job, and you'll be fine.
This is all bullshit. All right, the American dream. People are finding out that it's actually a nightmare. Really, with people, you find out that Esau is a goddamn devil. All right, because it's all the squeeze is really being put because all roads lead to the mark of the beast, the elites. They want total control over the masses, so you're being brought to your knees. All right, people are tapping their 401ks just to survive. People are feeling it, man. People are tapping out. You know, and this is going to tie into Isaiah 4:1. All right, with 7 women taking hold of 1 man. Right.
What we didn't realize was the universities were selling us an overpriced degree that those jobs didn't exist, and you're going to be paying 10 to 12% on those student loans for the rest of your life. Then you can't afford a house because you've got too much debt to income. We're cooked.
Yeah, forget buying a house. Forget that shit. All right.
Look, there's a whole generation that's going to be really mad, and they're starting to figure this out.
Where's all this stake money going?
Hey, the elites, you know, you will own nothing and be happy. You will never own nothing in here anyway. You buy a house, you know, you don't own this shit, man. Car, nothing. You know?
They want $47 for this, and it expires today. I was shocked when I found...
Which, yeah, that's you know, $47 and expires today. All right? It's inflation. Inflation is the general sustained increase in prices for goods and services across an economy over time. All right? That's been happening since Biden was in office. And now it's worse under the taco. Speaking of tacos, right? Trump always chickens out. Because now what they're telling you is that there's a ceasefire. The war in Iran is over. Right? It says, but he just said that he's going to totally destroy a generation. Right? Inflation is the general sustained increase in prices for goods and services across an economy over time, resulting in a decrease in the purchasing power of money. Yeah, and the purchasing power of the USD is totally decreased, man. Right? It means $100 today buys less than it did last year. It is measured by indices like Consumer Price Index. Okay, so right now we're all experiencing inflation as the price of food, gas, clothing, rent, electricity, all these things continue to go up. Your wages are not going up, you know? Or if you get a raise, you might be lucky if that's a 25-cent raise, maybe a 15-cent raise, or even a 50-cent raise, you know?
I was shocked when I found out the price difference from the farmer to the grocery stores. You see, the farmers aren't making $50 for a couple steaks. They get paid for the weight of the live animal. So that's what makes me wonder here is why aren't we taking better care of our farmers? We need our farmers. If you care about where your food comes...
Don't forget that. The farmers are pissed off with Trump because they, you know, the tools and things of that nature, they can't afford it. Your farmers are in debt. Your farmers are in debt. You have something called Farmageddon, right?
From.
So here's my question on a lot of this food. Comment down below. I want to know your thoughts. Where does that go in a day when it expires? Oh, or in 2 days? Like, what happens to that 47.78? Because obviously nobody's going to buy that steak for $50. 2 steaks, $25 a piece for some meat. And what happens to it tomorrow? Do they just throw it away and charge it off on their taxes?
In a lot of cases, a lot of these major corporations, supermarkets, they a lot of that food is wasted. All right, but then they don't want you to go what's called dumpster diving, right? Well, this is gonna make a huge comeback, right? Because even food banks are being tapped. Dumpster diving is the act of searching through commercial or residential waste containers to find discarded items that still have value. And what are people going to be looking for? Food, right? Such as food, clothing, furniture, or in a cybersecurity context, sensitive documents. But in this case, we're actually talking about, physical markets. People are going to be searching for food, clothing, and other necessities that they need, right?
What happened?
I wanted to cook a roast this weekend, but look at the prices: $35, $33.
And this ain't nothing. Yeah, it's bad. We're experiencing inflation. But guess what? This is all a build up to hyperinflation. Hyperinflation is an extremely rapid, out of control increase in prices, often exceeding 50% per month. It causes money to lose value instantly, often resulting from excessive money printing to cover government debt, leading to massive currency devaluation and severe economic turmoil. That's what's coming to Babylon the Great. Severe economic turmoil. All right, I might just title the lesson that.
$33. Everything costs too much. You can't afford it.
I remember a roast used to be what you did with some meat, potatoes, carrots, vegetables, when you wanted to feed a lot of people cheaply. Not anymore. Not anymore. And what's the future of this? When you can't go and find meat. Meat used to be.
A lot of people are going to resort to taking that shit. They're going to have armed guards at these markets. All right? Which eventually that's going to lead to you can't even get in this store if you don't have the mark of the beast. Right? You won't be able to buy or sell. So why you need to come in the store?
Something that only the rich people ate, and only on a certain time of year. You had a lot of vegetables, things like that. And then now, in a day where there's more meat than there's ever been, it is so expensive. We're going back to the way it was back, during the Depression. My grandma used to tell me stories about not being able to eat meat because it was too expensive.
I don't know how I'm going to live in this economy much longer, guys. This was $200. $200 at Walmart. This isn't even going to last me half a week. This isn't even going to last me half a week.
This is going to lead to Isaiah 4:1. Right? This is Isaiah 4:1. And in that day, 7 women shall take hold of one man, saying, we will eat our own bread and wear our own apparel. Only let us be called by that name, and to take away thy reproach. And it's pretty straightforward. How is a woman called by a man's name? She becomes married. She takes on his name. She has children. The children take on his name. All right? So that's through the act of marriage or sex. Okay? So it says 7 women. So you're going to start to see more men, one man with multiple women. That's gonna become normal. All right, and they're gonna start learn how to share it and work together. It's gonna happen on this side. Our woman ain't gonna have to work in the kingdom. They're gonna be you know, waited upon, hand and foot. All right, they're gonna be good. So this is gonna start. It's already happening now, but it's going to increase because a lot of these men don't want to deal with the woman. All right, when you think about shit like family court, how it's against the man, child support, STDs, the whole fiasco down there in Houston. So a lot of men are in the spirit like, man, fuck these women. I'm focused on myself. Okay. Then you got the aspect of the wars, right? A lot of men is gonna be put to death. So there's gonna be a shortage of men. This is 2nd Ezra 16. Wait, is it 16? Okay, yep. 2nd Ezra 16 and 33. The virgins shall mourn, having no bridegroom, to the young woman of marriageable age, or a woman, and that has not had sex, right? The woman shall mourn, having no husbands. That's happening now. They're mourning online. Why won't men approach us? Their daughters shall mourn, having no helpers. 34. In the wars shall their bridegrooms be destroyed. They're getting drafted, right? Things of that nature. They're going to be destroyed in wars. Egyptian against Egyptian, civil war, right? And their husbands shall perish of famine. A lot of men are going to die. So that's going to leave, which women already outnumber men right now. A lot of men are dead or in prison, or they're homosexuals, or they're just not dealing with women, or if they are, they're going overseas to get women. You see?
This isn't even gonna last me half a week.
Tonight, I'm here at the grocery store. I come to get some stuff. America's not going to be able to survive like this. How are we going to survive? I got stuff to make burger and fries, okay? I got enough meat to make 8 hamburgers, a pack of hamburger buns, a thing of charcoal, a bag of potatoes, and grease. Take a wild guess. $50 damn.
Then throw in how all the food is fucking fake. All right, now that'll really piss you off. All right, what's that? Is that Ezekiel 9? No, it's Ezekiel 4. Let's see, this is Ezekiel 4 and 13. And the Lord Yahweh Shem Yahushai said, even thus shall the children of Israel eat their defiled bread among the Gentiles, whither I will drive them. Right? And all the food is defiled. Right? When we go shopping, we're in the mindset, we have a ruling class mentality now, so we're not just getting the bottom of the barrel shit. We're in the mindset of getting the best. Of course you live within your means, the best you can get. But you understand that it's all defiled anyway. And, you just pray over it. That's why we have to continue praying to Yahweh Shem Yahushai, right?
$50 to make homemade hamburgers and French fries? There's no way we're surviving. I make good money, and this is not sustainable. I can't spend $50, and I didn't even get nothing.
They'll just show you the average American, guy, which he appears to be an Edomite, but the average American male, they're fucking cooked. They're feminine. All right? So most High gonna put the spirit where it's gonna be Egyptian against Egyptian. It's gonna be a cold spirit out here where it's gonna be war. People gonna get tired of this shit. And Esau's the one that's gonna pop it off. Right?
This right here was on sale for $3.99. So the charcoal was only $3.99. The rest of the food, hamburger meat, buns, potatoes, and grease, $45.
I mean, to pay $50 for a hamburger means you almost had to make 100, because minus taxes, income tax, especially if you're in a decent income tax bracket. Then you got sales tax. Then you got the gas to go there and get it, the time and effort to go there and get it. Look how much $40-$50 is really, $75, $80. And taxes are going to keep going up. Sales tax will keep going up, and the price of food will keep going up, but wages are not going up. Once the credit cards meet their limit, they max out, what are people going to do? Let me hear your thoughts down below.
So this keeps coming up. People keep saying that if you live in your car, it's not the same thing as being homeless. Let's talk about this for a minute. I get what they're saying.
But that's another thing too. You have the working homeless, which a lot of people are working 40 plus 60 hours a week, and you know what? They can't afford a housing apartment because they don't make 3 times the rent, or the credit is fucked up, so they have to live out their vehicle. Right? This place is cooked. And this has happened to a lot of Edomites and heathens. All praise, honor, glory to Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. All right? This is Deuteronomy 30:7. And the Lord, Yahweh Hashem Yahushai, thy power, will put all these curses upon thy enemies, right? Which is mainly Esau, right? And other nations too. Well, it starts with Esau. And on them that hate thee, which persecuted thee. And you can read Deuteronomy 28 from 15 to 68. It tells you the curses, all right?
It's coming up. People keep saying that if you live in your car, it's not the same thing as being homeless. Let's talk about this for a minute. I get what they're saying. If you sleep in a car, it's not as difficult as sleeping outside or under an overpass or in a homeless shelter. I get what they're saying, but here's the thing. For anybody that feels this way, I would encourage you to go sleep in your car for the next 2 weeks. No cheating. You're not allowed to go inside to take a break. You can't really plug your devices in because you'll drain your car battery. No heat or air. You're outside with all the noise and all the crime and all the craziness going on. No shower, nowhere to cook, no kitchen, no running water. And I want you to pack that vehicle with everything that you own so you have no space to do anything. And then I want you to try not to get arrested because it is illegal in the United States to sleep in your car unless...
All praises to Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. All right. All praises, honor, glory to Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. This is judgment on Esau. All right.
You're in a certain designated area. And I want you to do all that while working 40 hours per week and carrying on your regular activities. At the end of that 2 weeks, I want you to tell me how rested and clean you are and what your quality of life is like and how easy it is. You have to find somewhere to make food. You have to find somewhere to keep and store food. You have to find somewhere to take a shower, somewhere to change clothes. Where are you going to hang out with your friends? I guess you're hanging out.
There's a lot of people, they just live in the gym, parking lot at the gym. You get a membership, right? You work out, you go to the shower. Most cases, you'll see motherfuckers in there in the bathroom with, devices plugged in cooking.
Their places, right? Good luck finding anything in your car once it's full of everything that you own because it's your home. Let me know how that works out for you. Let me know how your experiment goes.
This journey with childhood cancer comes at you in waves. Every day we wake up.
That you own because it's your home. Let me know how that works out for you. Let me know how your experiment goes.
Who thinks that if you're living in your car, you're not homeless? Thinks that if you're living in your car, you're not homeless. You're homeless.
Well, that's what's coming. Homelessness, famine, pestilence, war, right? This is Matthew 24 and verse 6, right to the point. And ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars, so that ye be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. And we've seen that with the whole, America, Iran, right? America, Greenland, and bumping heads with its allies, NATO, okay? But the other prophecies that have to come to pass, such as the mark of the beast, right? 7, for nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famines, scarcity of food, lack of food and water, and pestilences, different diseases, and earthquakes in diverse places. All of these are the beginnings of sorrows, right? Now, I'll put in the chat, going into Revelation 6, and this is the Amplified Bible, right? Revelation 6, Amplified Bible. It reads, "And I heard something like a voice in the midst of the four living creatures, saying, a quart of wheat for a denarius, a day's wages, and 3 quarts of barley for a denarii, and do not damage the oil and the wine." Right? Revelation 6 KJV, a measure of wheat for a penny. So a penny goes back to a denarii, which is what the Latin coin back then, which balanced out to a day's wages or a day's pay. Okay? So imagine you and that's what the guy was talking about. Fucking burgers, potatoes and a bun and coal over $50. So people are complaining, all right, because their dollar's not going that far, right? What's happening here? The third seal, black horse, Revelation 6:5, black horse rider, has a pair of balances, scales, symbol of scarcity, economic control, rationing. That's what's coming. Severe economic turmoil. A measure for a penny denarius. Denarius equals a full day's wages, roughly one person's daily food. Meaning, you work all day just to eat, right? Wheat versus barley. Wheat equal higher quality, preferred. Barley, cheaper, lower quality, all right? So, 1 measure of wheat for a full day's wages. 3 measures of barley, same wage. People will be forced toward lower quality survival food. A lot of people are going to get so desperate to where they're going to be forced to cannibalism, right? This is Isaiah 9, verse 20. He shall snatch on the right hand and be hungry, and he shall eat on the left, and they shall not be satisfied, and they shall eat every man the flesh of his own arm. It's going into cannibalism. It's going to get real desperate out here, right? Modern understanding. This points to inflation, economic hardship, controlled supply. Food becomes expensive, we're seeing it. Money loses power, we're seeing that. Survival becomes harder, we're seeing that. Right? Hurt not the oil and the wine. It says this is the part you asked about. 2 main understandings: economic imbalance, most direct. Basic food scarce and expensive. Luxury, higher end goods remain untouched, meaning inequality. Poor struggle to eat. Wealth, luxury still exists, right? And there's some truth to that, because the meaning actually breaks down the oil and the wines, dealing with the truth. All right, so ultimately the elect has to be sealed. All right, but even though it's not like there won't be any food. It's that the elites will control who has access to it, which again, all roads lead back to the mark of the beast, right? Spiritual layer. Oil is the anointing, wine, joy, covenant, truth. So even in chaos, the Most High preserves what is His, which is the elect, right? Because even in all of this, it says in what's that, Isaiah 65. This is Isaiah 65 and verse 13. Therefore thus said Yahweh Hashem Shai power, behold, my servants shall eat, but ye shall be hungry. Behold, my servants shall drink, but ye shall be thirsty. Behold, my servants shall rejoice, but ye shall be ashamed. Okay? So even during famine and the economic turmoil that's coming, shit to fan, societal breakdown, things of that nature, the elect are going to be, cared for, protected. They're going to have food and drink, right? They're going to have women, right? Put together this verse Put together simply, this verse shows: one, economic pressure increases, so really this ain't shit. Food becomes hard to afford. People struggle. People struggle daily just to survive, but certain things are preserved. Really going into the elect, right? Amplified version adds clarity. When it says a day's wages, that's just explaining how severe the situation is. Connection to today, real talk. It says, they've already mentioned bills piling up, pressure financially. This verse shows the kind of pressure increases in the world system. All right? That tied directly into Rev 13. He calls it all. Right? It says, key takeaway: this is not random chaos. This is controlled judgment and testing. Right? So I'm going to put in, how does this says the three passages: Revelation 6:6, famine, scarcity, food becomes expensive. Survival is controlled through economics. Revelation 13:6 and 17, that no man might buy or sell save he that had the mark. Control of commerce. Who can buy, who can sell, who can participate in the system. It's the mark of the beast. Isaiah 4:1, 7 women shall take hold of one man, saying, when we eat our own bread, only let us be called by that name. Shows imbalance, desperation, social breakdown, especially after war and judgment. How to connect, right? Simple. Step 1, Rev 6 and 6, economic pressure begins. Food is scarce, prices rise, survival gets harder. Step 2, revelation, controllers enforce. System decides who buy and sell, right? Access to food resources becomes conditional. Step 3, aftermath of judgment, societies destabilize. People act out of survival desperation. Normal structure is broken. All right? And that's exactly what's coming. Big picture flow. Scarcity, control, and desperation.
If you don't have a permanent place to feel secure, leave your things, come home to, take a shower, sleep with.
Even with that, scripture says a man should have no pity on his neighbor. So you're going to have a lot of people just going to people's homes and shit, man. Out of desperation. That's going to happen too. You know?
With some type of solitude and a protection from the world, you're homeless. Cars, after living out of a car for a while, gun trucks, deployment, just being young and riding all over the place and not really having, that when you're on the road, that place to, lay your head because, it's expensive. And you're like, oh, I'm going to sleep in my car for a couple days. It is not the same. You are out there with the elements, the crime, the people, like you're, a place to shower, a place to go to the bathroom, a place of privacy.
It's rough living out of a car, man. That shit is not easy. And a lot of these women are homeless.
You got to have a place of privacy, I think, as a modern human.
So Donald Trump got on stage last night and said, we can't afford daycare or Medicaid. We're funding wars. Sir, didn't you run on lowering costs for Americans, no new wars, and finding a better healthcare plan to replace the Affordable Care Act? Oh, and while you mentioned Israel 6 times last night, you left out the part where we pay them billions of dollars in aid every year, and they give their citizens free health care and child care. Meanwhile, you're telling the American people that even though it comes out of our paycheck every month, we can't afford Medicaid for Americans. Oh, and another thing. If we stop federal funding for Medicaid and transfer it to the states, like you were suggesting, the average American taxpayer, you and I, would be paying $3,000 to $5,000 more per year. So just to recap, we can fund wars, we can send billions overseas, yet we can't afford basic needs for Americans at home.
Yep, we cannot afford basic needs for Americans at home. Squeeze is being put. All right, the Americans are being set up to be squeezed so hard that when they do introduce the mark of the beast, you just accept it. You're ready to be over it. All right. This is Ezekiel 7:5. Thus said the Lord, Yahweh Shem Yahushai, and evil, only evil, behold, is come. That's it. Right? That's what's left for Babylon. Evil, and ultimately nuclear destruction, which is very evil. Right? And end is come, and I believe Ezekiel 38 or 39. It says, "Thou shalt think an evil thought." Right? Dealing with the Gog and Magog, pushing that button. And end is come, the end is come, and watch it for thee. Behold, it is come. We're going to jump down to verse going to jump down to verse 15. The sword is without, and pestilence and famine within. He that is in the field shall die with the sword, right? And he that's in the city, famine and pestilence shall devour them. And they've been, you hear preppers, things of that nature, say, get out of the city, get out of the city. Really, it doesn't matter where you go. If you don't have the covering of Yahweh Shem Yahushai, you're screwed. But these cities are going to become traps. But even intelligent second edges, they're going to be a couple survivors. Verse 16. But they that escape of them shall escape, and shall be on the mountains like doves of the valleys, all of them mourning, every one for his iniquity. All hands shall be feeble, and all knees shall be weak as water. 18. They shall also gird themselves with sackcloth, and horror shall cover them, and shame shall be upon all faces, and baldness upon their heads. 19. They shall cast their silver in the streets, and their gold shall be removed. Their silver and their gold shall not be able to deliver them in the day of the wrath of Yahweh Shem Yahushai. And you have people that are actually buying in silver and gold, which is good. But again, you ain't going to be able to buy your way out of the wrath of Yahweh Shem Yahushai. You're going to be able to pay off the, foreign troops, UN troops, things of that nature. The sleeper cells. That ain't going to work. They shall not satisfy their souls, nor fill their bowels, because it is the stumbling block of their iniquity. All right. So when the dollar collapses, which is pretty much already doing, a lot of people they gonna use that damn paper to wipe their ass with, start fires. Right. With that, I'll end it there. Lord willing, has brought some edification. I want to give all praises, honor, glory to Yahweh Shem Yahushai. Say shalom to the whole elect.